One forgotten TV show could reveal more about your mind than you ever imagined. You finish an entire season and barely remember what actually happened. Someone mentions the ending, and your mind suddenly goes completely blank. You remember enjoying it, but almost none of the story feels familiar now. Soon you start wondering if your memory is quietly getting worse with age. Many men secretly worry these moments mean something is seriously wrong. It feels impossible to forget something you watched only weeks ago. But psychology reveals a surprising reason almost nobody expects. The truth is far less to do with memory than most people believe. Once you understand it, you may never watch television the same way again. Your brain begins deciding what to remember long before the credits ever begin rolling. Memory is built from attention because what you barely notice rarely becomes easy to recall later. Many men watch television while checking phones, answering messages, or thinking about tomorrow. Even without distractions, your mind quietly drifts toward unfinished problems and future plans. The story keeps moving forward while your attention keeps moving somewhere completely different. Your eyes may follow every scene while your thoughts travel somewhere far outside the screen. Psychologists know that divided attention weakens the formation of lasting memories from the start. The brain cannot deeply store information that never received full mental engagement. Instead, it creates weaker memory traces that fade much faster than expected afterward. That is why entire episodes can disappear, even though watching them felt enjoyable. You remember the feeling of the show better than the details that created it. The experience was real, but the memory never had a strong foundation to grow from. Yet attention alone still cannot explain why some shows vanish almost completely from memory. The real answer begins with a hidden filtering system your brain uses every single day. And once you understand that system, forgetting shows starts making perfect psychological sense. Your brain quietly filters every experience before deciding what deserves long-term memory. It was never designed to preserve every conversation, movie, or television episode you consume. Instead, it constantly asks one simple question before saying anything for the future. Will this information help you survive, solve problems, or make better decisions later? If the answer feels uncertain, your brain slowly begins releasing those memories instead. That does not mean the show lacked quality, because it simply lacked personal importance. Psychologists call this selective memory, and it shapes your life more than you realize. Emotion, purpose, and relevance always give memories a far stronger chance of surviving. That is why one meaningful conversation can outlive an entire weekend of binge-watching. Your mind naturally protects experiences that become connected to your own identity. Entertainment without deeper personal meaning often receives far less mental priority. The story quietly fades because your brain believes something else deserves the space. This hidden filtering happens every day without asking for your permission first. But another invisible force makes this forgetting happen even faster for many men. That force has been growing long before you ever press play on the first episode. Long before you forgot the show, your mind was already carrying problems far beyond the television screen. Many men spend the day mentally solving challenges, even when their bodies appear completely relaxed. Work, finances, relationships, responsibilities, and future plans quietly compete for every thought available. Even during entertainment, your brain keeps checking unfinished problems in the background without stopping. Psychologists call this cognitive load, and it silently consumes valuable working memory every day. The heavier that invisible mental weight becomes, the harder it is to deeply absorb new stories. Your attention keeps returning to real life because your brain believes those problems matter more. The show becomes background information while your inner world quietly becomes the main event instead. This is why two men can watch the same series yet remember completely different amounts afterward. One watched with a peaceful mind while the other never truly left his responsibilities behind. Chronic stress trains the brain to stay alert even during moments that should feel completely relaxing. When survival feels more important than entertainment, memory naturally changes its priorities. Forgetting the story is often the symptom rather than the deeper psychological cause itself. The real struggle may be a mind that rarely feels safe enough to fully slow down. And that changes everything about what forgetting television actually reveals about your brain. The biggest surprise is that forgetting television can actually mean your brain is working exactly as designed. Memory was never built to store every story simply because you happen to watch it once. Instead, your brain constantly protects information that feels useful, emotional, or personally meaningful. Everything else quietly becomes less important as newer experiences begin competing for attention. Think of memory as a bookshelf with only limited space available for each passing day. Every new experience forces your brain to decide what deserves to remain on those shelves. Shows that never connect to your own life often lose that competition surprisingly fast. That is why one emotional scene may survive while 10 exciting episodes completely disappear. Your brain remembers meaning far more easily than it remembers entertainment by itself. Even a simple conversation about the show can strengthen memories that almost faded away. Personal reflection creates stronger mental connections that make future recall much easier. Psychologists call this deeper encoding because meaning gives memory a stronger foundation. The information never becomes valuable until your brain believes it matters to your life. Once you understand this, forgetting starts feeling far less frightening than it once did. And that realization completely changes how you understand memory from this moment forward. The solution begins long before you ever try remembering the show weeks or months later. Your brain remembers best when attention stays fully present from the very first scene. Watching without checking your phone gives memories a much stronger foundation to grow upon. Talking about the episode afterward helps strengthen the pathways your brain just created. Even replaying your favorite scene makes those memories easier to find later. Connecting the story to your own life gives it far greater psychological importance. Your brain naturally protects memories that feel personally meaningful or emotionally useful. Sleeping after watching also helps organize new memories into long-term storage. But the biggest change comes from reducing the mental noise competing for your attention. The calmer your mind becomes, the easier new stories remain available for recall. Your memory improves naturally when your attention stops constantly jumping elsewhere. Real progress comes from working with your brain instead of fighting how it functions. Small habits repeated consistently create stronger memories than forcing yourself to concentrate. You begin remembering more because your mind finally has space to fully experience the story. And that simple shift prepares you for the most important truth of all. The next time you forget a television show, do not assume your memory is slowly failing you. Remember that attention shapes memory long before recall ever has the chance to begin. Your brain protects what feels meaningful and quietly releases what seems less important instead. That does not make you forgetful because it makes you deeply human in the first place. Sometimes, the busiest minds simply struggle to preserve stories that never became personally meaningful. Once you understand this pattern, frustration slowly gives way to patience and confidence. You begin working with your brain instead of constantly questioning how well it remembers. That simple perspective can completely change how you understand memory for the rest of your life. Subscribe for more psychology videos that reveal the hidden patterns behind everyday behavior. Your mind is doing far more behind the scenes than you ever imagined.